Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Roll it, Tony.
The System drops in theaters October 28th, limited release. Building a platform for the November 4th digital launch. We'll announce the streaming shortly, but the movie is an action movie with a message. It's got a little bit of a martial arts genre twist.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest today is a filmmaker who is holding court for entertainment buffs who enjoy action, horror, and thriller films. The gentleman has put out a few movies, including The System, which was a high-octane action thriller, and made a nationwide theatrical release on October 28th. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dallas Jackson. Greetings, Dallas, and welcome to The Actor's Choice.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
My pleasure. My pleasure. First of all, where were you born at?
I was born in Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
And, born and raised, worked, went to school. Family's still there, left when I was 17 and went to Howard.
All right. There's a lot of luminaries that come out of that state. Let's see, Pam Grier, Don Cheadle, Hattie McDonald.
Yeah, yes. I went to East High School, and who knew that it had this illustrious alumni? I didn't know that when I was there. I only find out years later.
Hey.
And when I was coming up, Don Cheadle, his little brother Colin went to school with me. So Don wasn't Don who he is now. He was just I remember the first movie he did, Colors. We got to get out of school early so we could go see Colors because he was from Denver, and this kid from Denver was in his first movie. So that was my introduction to Don, finding out that he went to the same high school I did.
Well, your name is right along with them, indeed, for sure.
I'm trying to get there, brother. I appreciate that.
I hear you. First of all, what made you come into the business of filmmaking?
I was a kid that grew up loving movies. I wasn't the kid that was super deep off into sports, even though I played throughout elementary and into junior high.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved movies. I played sports in high school, but I was ditching school. I hate to say, on Fridays to go to the movies. I was the kid that went to the video store and would get 7 or 8 movies and be in the basement all weekend watching movies. Or when I got off of work in high school, I went right to the movies. So that was my thing. I would say Hollywood Shuffle, going to see that with my father. It was playing in one theater in Denver. And me and my father went to go see it. And I saw someone who looked like me, who he looked like an uncle. Robert was older, but I could identify with the story of him putting this movie together on $35,000 on his credit card. And, my father laughed in the theater. That was the first time I saw my father laugh at a movie. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to do what Robert Townsend was doing. Mm-hmm. And he kind of unveiled this code of, because getting a movie made was kind of a mystery to me, and watching Robert's story and him saying how he did it inspired me. And then, going to see the movie with my father was definitely an inspiration.
Wow. Now, if you go back a little ways, I'm told that you were sitting on your couch asking God and wondering what's going
on. Yeah. Which time? Which time are you talking about?
Oh, no.
It's probably the time when, a few years back, I experienced some financial hardship, and that is a norm in this business. You think you might have made it, or at least on a path to making it, and you might hit a financial roadblock. And sometimes you have to double down on your commitment and also your faith. And that's probably one of those times you're referring to. And, I think everybody gets to a point where they want to question God's plan, but you don't know what that plan is. It's usually bigger than what you're imagining. And that's when faith kicks in. And I think that was probably a moment where I had to readjust my faith, and just kind of not question and double down on the work.
All I can say is amen, my brother. Amen.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of things, as you know, to make it in this business. What training or education did you take to, as they say, to get qualified?
Well, it's interesting because I've always felt like, people come into the entertainment business in different roads. Another part of my childhood was doing stand-up. So I used to do stand-up when I was 14, 15, and 16. I would go to the club, do some stand-up. My mother would wait outside for me. I did stand-up a little bit my first year of Howard, but I was considering not going to college. I was going to move to LA and do stand-up. And my parents said, no, you go to, you're going to go to college. And that was the best move I could have made, because at college, at Howard, I learned about screenwriting. I learned about the early parts of directing and pre-production. And so that shifted my mindset into wanting to be a writer. And the more I dug into the research part of it, and my heroes like Keenan Ivory Wayans, like Steven Spielberg, like Spike Lee, like George Lucas, all these people I looked up to, John Carpenter, they were all writers first.
Right.
And so I set my course on, okay, I'm going to be a writer in the business. I like to create. I like to watch stories. So why not tell stories? And that was my way to navigate into the business after I got out of college. And I did take a screenwriting course at Howard. Yep. I had a professor who said I was good and I should stick with it. So that was another, small inspiration to say this is what I was going to do to try to get into the business. I was going to take this avenue. Yep. I kind of deviated away from stand-up and focused my creativity and my timing and stories on the page instead of going up on a stage and doing it. So, going to college, going to Howard, I always say I did two things right in this life: going to Howard, moving to LA after. Those were my two biggest, moves I made to get into this thing we call entertainment.
Got you. Now, the year is 2005. IMDb says you made your first writer and producer credit for a TV series project called South of Nowhere.
Yeah, IMDb's lying a little bit, because my first writing producing project was Uncle P. I did a movie for Master P and his son Little Romeo called Uncle P, and we wrote.
Are you talking about that one?
Yes, sir. So Master P paid me. I was selling scripts and I wasn't getting anything made. And Master P asked me to, we had a meeting. He knew I was writing scripts. At that time, he was making movies. He had made Still Bout It. He made Foolish with Eddie Griffin and some other movies. And he had asked me to write a family movie for him and Romeo. And so I wrote that movie, and then he financed it. And because of us making that movie and us eventually landing it at Nickelodeon, I got asked by Tommy Lynch, who was the executive producer of South of Nowhere, to work on his show and write on it. And Tommy Lynch actually went on to executive produce Romeo's show. Romeo had a show on Nickelodeon for a few years. And I had the opportunity to work on that, but I instead chose to work on South of Nowhere. And it was a great experience. It was my first, now what that was my first TV experience and first TV job.
Okay. They can say you always learn something from that first or early jobs. Those you really can, yes. We just happen to have a clip. Can you roll it, Tony?
What's your lunch, punk?
Try that gooey one on for an appetizer.
Don't you guys have something better to do than bother me?
Just trying to say, you don't value our company.
I'm just saying. I'm already having lunch with a friend today.
Oh yeah? Who'd be brave enough to cut in on our lunchtime together?
My Uncle P.
I got you.
All right. I see you smiling. It brings back memories.
Yeah, when we shot that scene, actually, I was laughing because the kid flicks a booger on the table, and they were bullies messing with Romeo. And that booger was fake. It was obviously some special effect booger.
Right.
And nobody wanted to get near that booger. All the kids, nobody wanted to, and everybody was like, it's not real. And nobody wanted to have any proximity to that booger. So it still makes me laugh.
Interesting name. There's a sportscaster by the name. You might see him from time to time. His name is Booger.
Hey, whatever works for that brother.
Exactly.
Or yeah, whatever works. Whatever works.
Many people in this industry think it's a snap. They come into the industry, everybody's got this. Hello, I got that. So I can make me a movie. What do you think about that? A lot of competition.
Look, there's definitely technology has made things a little bit more, I won't say accessible. It's made people be able to have the ability to make content, Now, it still is very difficult to have the discipline to write a good script. It takes many drafts, notes, and after time, you may get good enough to write another one and another one and another one. That's called discipline.
Yes.
And that's going to separate the talent from the desire to just pick up your phone and saying you're shooting a movie. Yes. Now, at the same time, you have to be able to, as I said, write a movie that a studio or independent financier is going to want to finance. And that also takes discipline in writing a good script. So you can pick up this thing all day you want. You can say you're doing whatever you want. But if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Right.
So I would say, there's two roads to take. There's the one to take that's the discipline road, and the one that takes years to establish yourself as a creative entity. And then there's the other road where you're just shooting stuff and seeing what's going to happen. Now, you could shoot something, a student film or, independent movie with this, and good things might happen with it. That's definitely a possibility, but it still takes talent and discipline to make that happen.
I call it my favorite four-letter word. That is, when you're doing the kind of work that you do, it's called an idea. Everything starts right there.
Yes, sir.
And then you put it on a piece of paper and you do all the different things that you have. Tell us about the joy you have taking an idea from the beginning to end. You're the director, you're the writer.
Mm-hmm. Well, I enjoy the whole process. So I enjoy writing and creating. That's the time I spent in front of my computer with the music on, just creating and not having any barriers or, notes or things to keep me in line. I enjoy the process of giving the script up and, it's kind of like a wait and see what's going to happen. Are they going to like it? Is it going to spark other interest? I like the process of selling a script, making the deal. That's always interesting to me. I like the process of production, being on set, watching these words come to life, having people employed because of your words, having actors say these words that you put down on the page. And then, at some point I like the editing process, because then it's kind of like you're back to just you and this editor, and you're watching all these words that you created come to life in a way where it's back to you again, navigating and creating the story and shaving little parts off or adding things or switching things around. It's kind of like going back to the writing part in the editing. So I enjoy the entire process of creating from script to finish. I don't really get into like color, and all that. I don't really, let them color correct all that. But I do enjoy the music process. I do enjoy the sound effects process, all of that. So I think part of being a creative entity as far as a writer, director, producer is you have to enjoy the various processes that you go through to get to the finish line.
Got you. I like the way that word that they use for the writers, the baby. You got the baby, right? Write it up, give it to the director or whoever the powers that be. And then they say, okay, we're going to change this, we're going to change that. You say, wait. That's not what I had in mind.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, each one of these projects is my baby, and so, some people go, well, which one do you like the best? Well, it's hard to choose. How you got 5 kids, which one you like the best? That's a hard just choice to make. And I love each of them for their own specific stories and backstories of how I got there to get that one made. But my new movie, The System, I'm very proud of it, and right now it's my favorite child.
Got you. What's your pleasure, celluloid or digital?
My experience has been primarily with digital. So I have no preference, but the technology now and the things you could do digitally, and the kind of run and gun nature of it, and being able to do things on the fly, I think gives an advantage to a filmmaker digitally. I know there's a lot of people old school who like film. I still enjoy watching films. I think the technology has gotten there from the early digital stuff. You could tell it was digital. Yes. Now it's like you can't really tell if it's film or not, and that's the beauty of it. 10 years ago, I would have said film, because digital just looked digital.
Yes.
So the technology has improved, and so I have no preference. But if I'm going to have to make the call, it's definitely digital. And it's just these days, I don't know anybody shooting on film anymore, except for maybe Tarantino if he has his way. And I don't even think he's shooting on. I don't think he's shooting on film anymore.
Oh yeah. Where do you get your material from for a movie?
From here.
Okay.
If it's an idea, or it's an article, or something that pops into my head, or for The System, my latest movie, it was an article that was sent to me about prisoners being made to fight to the death in a private prison in New York.
Yes.
And so that sparked an idea of a movie. And the more I dug into the whole of the corruption in the private prison system, there were all these different things of modern day slave labor and things going on. And there's a tri-state private prison area in Texas where they were making prisoners fight different prisoners in these different various prisons in proximity to each other. So it can come from different places. I've had, when I did Uncle P with Master P, that was an idea he pitched to me, and I kind of sparked to it and ran with it. Yes. I did this movie called Thriller for Blumhouse, who does horror movies. Yeah. And that was simply me saying to them, we should do a slasher with black and brown teenagers, because you always get the white teenagers in Friday the 13th, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. But where's the urban version of that? Gotcha. And that idea sparked an entire script and movie. So they can come from different places.
Got you. I understand you have an independent production company called DJ, what's this word? Classics Production?
DJ Classics, yes. My initials is Dallas Jackson, and we making classics.
All right. That's the way to go. Do you go to movies much?
Yeah, I'm trying to go today to see Avatar 2.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir. I still go to the movies quite a bit. I missed it when we were on quarantine, so
yes,
that was kind of one of the first things I did was go back to the movies.
Got you. I've seen the movie. I'm not going to get into it. There's a little thing we call word of mouth. I'm not going to get into it. Enjoy the movie. That's all I can say. Enjoy.
Copy that. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
We got a few more minutes left, and let's get right to what we really brought you out here for. We call it The System.
Yes, sir.
Look at that picture. Look at that picture. Look at them fellas up there.
Yeah.
You got 3 heavyweights there. Four.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about putting that cast together, please.
Well, me, Terrence, and Tyrese, have a bond, and that we all call John Singleton our brother. Okay. And so John Singleton, when he was still with us, had read this script, enjoyed it. In fact, I had asked him to direct it at one point, And he said, no, it's your movie. You're going to direct it. And, you know, I was able to shadow John while we made our TV show Rebel for BET. And, you know, he said, you should get Tyrese for that. And I said, hell yeah, let's do it. And so he, you know, made sure that I had already knew Tyrese, but he introduced us even more and made us sit down, and we became tight, and our kids played together. So when I told Tyrese when the time was right, when I got the financing in place, I was going to come to him with this project. Now, when that time came, which was 2021, our brother John was no longer with us. So we decided to dedicate the movie to John, and we made the call to go after Terrence. We had another actor, I won't say who was pushing the boundaries for more money in the 24th hour. And so Terrence came in, filled that slot. When he landed on set first day, we talked about John and dedicating this movie to him, and he was all in, all on board. And Jeremy was someone we wanted and didn't think that we were actually going to be able to land him, but he responded so strongly to the script that he called me and wanted to talk about the character, and then he said he was in. So, you know, my first day on set, I went to Tyrese's trailer. He's in there. I'm like, man, we're about to do this. You know, I go to the next trailer. Terrence is in there. We talk for 45 minutes. I'm like, wait, I got to go. I have to go, you know, prep and go see Jeremy. I go see Jeremy, and he's in hair and makeup. And so my head was spinning a little bit because I was like, wow, this is real. And now I got to go to work. Now I got to go do what I'm supposed to do, which is make a good movie.
Right.
And it was a little daunting. But once we hit the set and, you know, you say action, it's like going into the game. You go into the game and you just start playing and shooting hoops and trying to win. And that's what the attitude we had to win for our brother John.
Right. Good attitude you got, Dallas. Good attitude. Because you say when you're on that set, you're working. Because that money, that's all about the money. I'm looking at this right now. My man who owns that movie said you talked that you're getting ready to go see $2 billion for that movie.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
Ooh.
And you know, they not only gave him that movie, they gave him, you know, go shoot 3 movies.
Yes.
You know.
Wow. I've heard you say that the system is an action movie with a message.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, as I mentioned, the idea came from these corrupt private prisons. There's more private prisons being built in this country than colleges. When you have a private prison, it means that it's corporate owned. It's owned by a corporation, and the corporation's bottom line is to make a profit. So if you have a prison, you have to have bodies in there to turn a profit. And where do you get these bodies from?
Right.
You know, you get them from Black and brown communities because those are the most expendable.
Yeah.
And so, you know, white folks can afford lawyers, and they find a way to dodge the system, even though they're in the prison system as well. It's more prevalent with African American and Latinos. And so I wanted to pull back the curtain on not only the system itself of us being trapped in the penal system and why there's more of us in there and what's going on, but also talking about the privatization of the prison system, the deregulation, the things that are going on inside that affect directly our communities. So, you know, sometimes you have to put some sugar in the medicine.
Yep.
And the sugar in this medicine is the action, the martial arts, some of the things we do in the movie while we, you know, drop some gems in there about what's happening in the world, which is, you know, if you're doing a good movie, hopefully you're dropping some sugar in the medicine.
Times have changed. I mean, yeah, the other day we had a guy on the show and he was talking about Superfly. I mean, that back in my day, that's what we looked at. We saw that, you know.
Yeah.
Tell me about the changes.
Superfly had messages in it. You know, when you go back and look at that movie, there's some things being said that you're going to kind of walk away with and go, okay, it wasn't all just pimping and hoes, and he was saying something. So, I try not to do. I'm not attracted to movies like Booty Call. No disrespect to anybody who did that, but that's not what I'm trying to do. That's not the type of movies I enjoy. I enjoy messages. I enjoy things that are being said about our world. And even like I said, I want to go see Avatar. That whole movie's about climate change,
right?
And us messing up this planet. So if you're a good filmmaker, and the ones that I said I like, Spike, George Lucas, John Carpenter, John Singleton, all these guys always said something in their movies. They've always tried to find a way to drop some sugar in the medicine. And, I'm trying to follow in those footsteps.
We just happen to have a clip. Roll it, Tony.
You're going to have to survive a dungeon.
Let's get it on!
What's a war hero like you doing robbing drug houses? Can't afford medicine. She's got blood clots. What if I told you that I could help you? There's this prison downtown. I want you.
The prison downtown. Wow. Just a moment ago, you dropped a few names in. I'm saying to myself, here's a guy, he's right there. He's working arm and neck with the elbow to elbow with these guys. They are the best. You guys are the best. I love to see the movies. I go to the movies. And there's your crew, by the way. Just wanted to show that in there. It's amazing. You go to the movies, you go there to be entertained or informed. You go to have a good time. And here's a guy who's taken it out and done a great job. Before you go, I understand right now that you wrote and produced a movie right now called Fly 2021.
It's a series we're working on developing with Forrest Whitaker. And it's about the Compton Flight Program.
Yes.
Where they're teaching kids of color how to become pilots. And so we're working on developing that as a series. I don't want to say with who yet because we're in negotiations, but hopefully we're doing that next year. And it's an exciting program that we think is a series about Black kids in Compton learning how to fly airplanes, essentially.
Thank you very much for doing that. I work out there. I know Robin Petgrave. I know him very well.
Robin is, yes, sir. It's all about what Robin is doing and changing lives.
Wow. We have there's a chapter here in Los Angeles for the Tuskegee Airmen. You familiar with those guys?
Yes, sir.
And let me know if you ever want to make a movie on them. I'd be a great contact for you.
Yes, sir.
That's what Robin did. He worked hand in hand with the Tuskegee Airmen. The young lady flew across the country solo by herself. Just amazing, quite stories that you guys can put out. Wow.
There's a great movie out right now called Devotion.
Really? Tell me about it.
J.D. Dillard. And it is about the first brother that was, I believe, flying in the Air Force.
Interesting.
It's called Devotion. It's out right now.
Remember the first time that you saw the first movie that you worked on? How'd you feel then?
I'll say this: the first movie I got to see get made with my words was Uncle P. It was very empowering and very, enlightening for me, because what Master P did for me was give me access. I never had access to a movie set before. I never had access to casting. I never had access to pre-production. And so I think that's something that we have to be exposed to in order to be able to know how things work in this business. And so for me to be able to be on set, watching this thing I wrote, created, getting made, was very empowering for me. And I still appreciate and give props to Master P for that, because that was kind of like grad school for me.
Okay. I noticed that you haven't done any acting yet. Do you see any plans in the future for that?
I don't know, man. Maybe, I might do a cameo in one of my movies.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else doing it.
Yeah, right. Spike does it. Everybody does it. Yeah, right.
I might rock one day. I like focus. I like being focused on the making sure that it's great.
Right.
Before I try to put my shine on it. But now you threw it out in the universe. I might do a little something one day.
Before you go, sir, tell us about the support you get from your family and friends as a filmmaker.
Well, my family's been fantastic in supporting me. My wife has always encouraged me to continue to be creative and create, and that's rubbed off on her. She actually created the show Rebel I did with Singleton. So we have a nice understanding in the family of when I'm writing, when I'm creating. She tries to, not let the kids bother me. The kids understand what I'm doing now. They're 11 and 13. They're starting to want to be creative as well and do things. My daughter is costume designing her play at school right now, Charlotte's Web. So she's designing the costumes for all that play. So the things that I'm doing are starting to rub off on the family. So that's fun to see. But they've been supportive. My mother and father have always been supportive of what I've done. Even if they didn't understand what I was doing, they understand now because they can start to see things. So I think that's important to have your family support and important to have somebody that's saying, being your cheerleader.
Yes.
And that usually starts with mom and dad or girlfriend or wife and or friend or writing partner. So that's been important to me. And I try to reflect giving encouragement back creatively to other people that want to go down this path.
Okay. Well, Dallas, I want to thank you for being on our program today. All I can say is keep it going and continued success, sir.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
Thank you.
Continued success with your show. And I appreciate you having me on as a guest and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
The same to you, sir. The same to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Dallas Jackson. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to let you know that we're asking over the Actors Choice Squad to help us get former baseball player Curt Flood into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Now, Curt passed away January 20th, 1997, and he was the husband of one of our wonderful guests, renowned actress Judy Pace. Now, all you got to do is contact our TAC office at 213-349-3941. That's 213-349-3941. We sincerely thank each and every one of you for being a part of this magnificent award for a great baseball player. Okay? Roll it, Tony. Ladies and gentlemen, for more information about the TAC Roco channel, please call us at 213-349-3941. That's 213-349-3941. Thank you. Roll it, Tony.
Joseph was very upset when I spoke to him about this, so I thought it was important that we join together and work this through.
He said that my son was an animal and that if I didn't keep him on a leash, that he would hit him with his car.
Did you say that?
What I said was that we need to keep an extra eye on our kids because...
He called me an icon.
A what?
Language, Catherine, language.
I'm quoting. How am I going to relay what these two nutballs said to me?
Can you please not talk like that, Catherine? Music Man is rehearsing next door.
Sorry, fucking Music Man.
None of this talk is...
Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest today is an award-winning actress, writer, producer, and the artistic director of the Baron Brown Studio, located in Santa Monica, California. This lady has many film credits, including Spider-Man 2, This Is 40, Introducing Dorothy Dandridge, and Mad Men. And if that's not enough, she's in pre-production on her autobiographical film, Pawtucket, which will tell her life story. and they will start shooting in the spring of next year. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joanne Barrett.
Hello, everybody. How
Hi,
are
Joanne.
you?
Welcome to the Actor's Choice. Quite a bio you have, my dear. Quite a bio.
Thank you so much.
Now, one of the questions that I always ask from the top, what made you get into this business?
Well, when I was a young girl from a crazy family, I think my concept was that I would escape the pain of real life and go into the imaginary one. And I think a lot of actors are compelled to go into their imagination, some from boredom, but many from pain and trauma. And when you have a kind of crazy life, sometimes all you want to do is be someone else and imagine something else and find a place to both get your feelings out and maybe to hopefully get a little approval and a little attention and a little applause.
Wow, that's beautiful. Can we go back just a little bit? Where were you born at?
I was born in New Haven, Connecticut,
Oh,
and then
right.
we moved
Look
to
at this, New Haven.
Prospect Island. Yep.
Yes. Did you go to Yale by any chance?
I wish I'd gone to Yale. That would have been my dream. My grandfather was the Yale tailor. He had a tailor shop opposite Yale University, and he was called Nat Barron, the Yale tailor for all the students. And I think my mother did some teaching there a bit because she was an educator. Gotcha. But no, I didn't get in Yale, which is too bad for me.
Got you. Okay.
But I did go to the University of Connecticut, which is still in Connecticut.
Oh, okay. Because see, as you know, you're right down the road from New York City. How what's the distance between New Haven and DC? Oh,
2 hours. 2 hours.
2 hours. Okay.
Easy. Very convenient.
Easy. Remember the first time you got on a set?
The first time I ever got on a movie set, TV set. Let's think about it. I mean, I was on Ted Mack Amateur Hour singing "I Feel Pretty." That was like my 8-year-old audition. Gotcha. Lost to the girl who played accordion because you won by how many people wrote in. Right. And I didn't ask people to write in on their postcards. But I think one of the first movies I did was The Eyes of Laura Mars with Faye Dunaway. I played kind of a tough, I guess, maybe a romantic interest for her on a motorcycle. The Eyes of Laura Mars. Faye Dunaway at the time was a huge star, and I think that might have been my first movie.
Tommy Lee Jones, and let's see, the director was Irvin Kershner.
Yes.
Eyes of Laura Mars. Interesting. 1978. Take you on back.
Yeah.
That was your first movie. Let's take a look at talk about your last movie lately. The Halloween Ends.
Oh yes, that was one heck of a ride. Being with Jamie Lee Curtis on her absolutely final version of the Halloween Ends franchise. Wow. Yes. And to have the last scene she ever would do on that franchise was my first scene, my first day showing up on set.
Wow. I understand there's a special Blu-ray edition to be released on December 24th.
I think it's the 24th or the 26th, but it's that one of those editions where the director talks, where they have jokes, where they have bloopers, where they have deleted scenes. There's some really cool scenes that I did that weren't in the movie that are on it. So it's pretty cool. It's very interesting.
Wow. Here's a favorite question of mine. When you're on the set, where is your favorite hangout?
You know, I like to concentrate and be super focused. There's some actors that can be making dirty jokes and laughing and hanging out with people, and then they go action, and they immediately get into the scene in the Civil War crying. I'm one of those people that likes to ground myself, focus, be imaginative, emotionally connected, and very, very chill it down. So for me, my favorite place to hang out is in my trailer, or if on the set, sort of off to the side, with my sort of almost like my coat over my head. I want to just be very much like, as long as I can before they say action, totally getting into character.
Wow. That's a sign of a natural actress, what you do. That is really beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that you have one of LA's premier acting schools.
Yeah, our school, which started when I trained as an actress with William Esper in New York, and then I watched Sandy Meisner teach in his private class. It was an outgrowth of me coming out here to do Lovers and Other Strangers, the TV series pilot, and to do Joy of Sex, a comedy movie, very little sex is in it. And when I had those two jobs and I came out to Los Angeles, I think I got, can you still see me? Maybe
yes. You look good.
Okay. Okay, good. The because the moving out here as an artist compelled me to utilize my training that I'd had with William Esper to be a teacher. So I wanted to do the teaching that helped support me financially in between acting jobs, but also do the teaching that I was trained to do in the Meisner technique, because I had a love of serving and a love of helping other people. And it's also an amazing thing when you're in a community with people, movies and creative ideas and writing and producing, it makes a wonderful collaboration. So I wanted to have a community. I wanted to serve others and help them. And I wanted to, obviously, in between acting, have some means of creativity and support. So I opened up the school here, and I was very blessed to have people like Halle Berry and Robin Wright and Mariska Hargitay and Leslie Mann, Justin Hartley, Patrick Dempsey, and to make movies like Allie and Me and Perfume, and a series called Joanne Brown is Here on Facebook, which is also on YouTube, which is me and Jeff Goldblum and Robin Wright, and it's a fun little comedy that's improvised. So the school is really a creative hub for filmmakers, writers, directors, actors. It's a very groovy thing.
Okay. Here's a picture of one of your clients. You used to be her former coach. You might recognize this lady.
I'm looking. Where is it? Where is
I'm
it?
sorry. It's Mariska Hargitay.
Mariska Hargitay is one of the most talented people I've ever met. She is the most grounded, focused, work ethic person. She's got the longest running TV series in the history of television. Nothing has run longer than her. And I think the reason nothing has, run longer than her is because she's got this incredible work ethic, where every time she goes to set for 27 years, I think it is, she puts everything into every single scene. It's just incredible. And she was so much fun to teach, and she was only a baby then. She's probably 20.
Wow. Amazing.
And I'm on that show. I recur as a lawyer on that show. I've done that with her. So that was great fun. And she's also in the movie I produced and was in called Perfume. She's in that movie too.
Wow. Now, as I did my research, every year you have an event where 1,000 people come to the Fairmont Hotel in Santa Monica.
Well, not during COVID. We did it on Zoom, but we try to bring together all the people we can fit in a room, sometimes 1,000, sometimes 900, sometimes 800. And then we have someone like Tom Cruise show up, and he talks to people and inspires them. And he inspires not just the students who are completing their training, he inspires the teachers and the staff too. Because, if you really have the right attitude about your art, you should always be a child ready to learn. So I take acting class and I get coached. I love working and getting better all the time. I mean, I don't know if Meryl Streep needs it, but I do.
Okay. How does one get into your acting school, madam?
We have a approach which William Esper has, which is not that you audition. You don't audition because Meisner and Esper said, well, how can you test somebody's skill if they've never learned the thing? That'd be like someone wants to go to medical school and you say, well, let me see you do an operation. How can you do a darn operation for somebody if you don't even go to medical school? How can you sing and dance if you never took singing and dancing? So we just meet people at all ages, all stages, from all parts of the world, Zoom for international, out of state, in person for people who want to be in person. And it doesn't matter how short or tall you are, how modelish you are, or off-center, interesting, character looking. It doesn't matter if you're 80 or you're 18. We talk to you, we listen to you, we kind of explore your character and your passion, whether you're a working professional or you've never acted before. We just see if it's a match for us to show you what we know, to see if we can get you to the next level and get to your goal and your dream.
You won't see it now, but you'll see it later when we send a copy of this to you. But I got a video, some advice that you had from a lady by the name of Miss Elaine Williams about your studio.
I love her. I love her. Elaine Williams is an extraordinary actress, an extraordinary teacher. But we are really dedicated to the fact that not only is she a brilliant artist, but we love diversity. And that's why Halle Berry and Sherry Shepherd and LL Cool J I coached, and Tariq Trotter from Black Thought, The Roots. And all the movies we've done always are multicultural. Justin Chan, a brilliant Asian filmmaker who created and stars in and directs and produces Pachinko, which is a huge hit series. We're constantly looking for diversity and to build bridges and to create stories that change the world to love and repair. And so our teaching staff is diverse, our student body is diverse. We're dedicated passionately to that mission.
Tony, roll it, please.
Never give up, never quit. If this is really something that you want to do, take the work ethic the most seriously. Right in those moments of boredom, right in those moments where you feel that you can't go on, right in the moments where everybody tells you that only one person is ever going to have a professional career. That's the time that you have to take it on for yourself, and you have to make it personal for you. And so I would say never give up.
Wow.
I'm in love with her. I'm in love with her because of her talent, her beauty, her spirit. And that clip really expresses what our whole school is like.
Got you.
Our whole school is like that, top to bottom.
Got you. We only got a few more moments later for you. This one I think you're going to love. While reading your bio, ladies and gentlemen, I noted that this lady has done, you ready for this? 136 IMDb actress credits. As they say in the business, not bad. Not bad. What do you say?
I say I'm very, very proud that from a little mixed up girl in Connecticut with a troubled family, I worked my way to do something that made roses out of a fertilizer. That was the fertilizer, the I don't want to say the swear word, I don't swear, but the junk of life can be made into a garden.
Wow. 100. When I see that kind of film number, I say to myself, how many auditions has she had to do?
Well, you know, it's very interesting to know that I did Halloween Ends, and I had many, many auditions during the year after, and I just got a recurring role on a major TV show. And all that time they call it pinned. It's between you and someone else or you and a few people. So they say, you're in the running, you're in the mix. It's between you and this person. And then maybe they take someone short, tall, fat, or thinner. Maybe they take someone of a different ethnicity. And so it is a very rough business. I would never tell anyone to go into it for a sure bet. I would tell them to go into it for the love that you have to fulfill because there's nothing else that makes you as happy.
Wow. Joanne, we're going to show one video before you leave. Take a look at Joanne Barron, and this is called Comedy Reel. Roll it, Tony.
You haven't done anything.
Okay.
All right, really? You've just been totally lovely.
You would not believe the week. I mean, this is unreal. People are acting weird. I don't know. What is it? A full moon? What is it?
Do you want me to tell you?
What? Yeah. What? Is there something I don't know?
I don't want you to flip out, okay?
Are you okay? Are you okay?
That is so sweet of you. It's about you.
It's about you. It's about you.
That's Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks' wife. Yeah. I have bad news for that girl. It's about her.
Indeed. Joanne, we want to thank you so much for being here today. I know we all learned a lot about the industry and what you had to say. Please come back again. We have more to talk about. We're going to give you a few minutes.
God bless you. Thank you so much. God bless you, and God bless your viewers.
And please give my best to your publicist, Susan D. Gordon, please.
I will.
Thank you now. Thank you. I want to thank our sponsors, Harvey Brandman, Photography as an Art, Ron Irwin's Lose Life, The Way to Lose Weight, Larry Buford's Book to the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule, State Farm agent Carla Green, and veteran actor Rob Brownstein's Actor Training School and Actor Space. And much thanks to our guest today, writer, producer, and director Dallas Jackson, and award-winning actress, writer, and producer Joanne Barron. And of course, special thanks to our ever-growing audience. Be well. We'll see you next time.